Hey there, game devs. Let's get back to this. I just cleaned out everything that we did because I need to do something to test it out. But I wanted to show you that I noticed there's a gap in this piece right here. You can either move the whole thing over, or you can just move it this way. It just means this one may be a little bit more elongated. Honestly, a better choice is just move the whole thing. The reason you need that because when you do your symmetries that way, they will show up correctly. And we do symmetry 2 and Y. Max crashed on me since this last time, so I can't even use the paste if I wanted to. All right, so I have this back to where we were. I cleaned up that little bit of a mess. And then I'm going to collapse this to an editable poly. The reason I did that is because I want this sucker to be moved. And since the way we've been building it, it's actually made it a little bit easier for us than it could have been. Let me show you. And let me change this to 15. I figured out 15's, I think, just about right. So if I grab this, it's fine. If I grab this, it's fine. And it grabbed all 4 sides. And it went up all the way over the sides. Now, I'm going to show you how to dupe this and move it over to the right position, but you're going to be responsible for cutting it up. I'm not going to do the whole video on cutting it again because it's just like we just did here. And you can come back and clean up some of this too if you're doing it the same way I am. All right. Cool thing. Since we've been changing our pivot point, and actually since we the master pivot point came from this giant circle, meaning that every object in here is now have a pivot point of this right here. So if I cut anything out or do anything like that, it's going to keep that pivot point when I make a new object. So if I look at this and I rotate it, you'll see that the pivot point's not there anymore. Come on. You'll see that if I shift and drag, it pivots from there. Not the best ideal thing, so I'm just going to do a simple move really quick, like shift and drag it just the slightest bit, maybe like that much. Try and get it overlapping exactly where it was. And we're going to call it an object for now. We're going to deselect this object, and we're going to select that object we just made. And look, the pivot point's right there. What does that mean? Well, just like an array, if the pivot point is the center of something else, when I rotate this object, it rotates around that same axis that we had. That's the reason I wanted to collapse it. And then you delete it, and then you attach this piece, and you've got yourself exactly what we were talking about. That extra beam, and they're both the same height and width, and now, like I said, you need to come in here and attach it so they're not free floating. So let's go to top here and just do that last little bit, and then we have to start looking at the beams. Oh, actually, let's not do that. Let's take this guy and attach this guy, then go to 4, grab this. We can zoom in a little bit. Obviously, I was a little bit further out where they need to be. Let's just do, oh yeah, 15 on. Okay, looks pretty good there. This one's easier. That's pretty good. You always want to make sure you don't grab parts you don't want or leave any. Well, leaving parts isn't as bad as deleting parts that are meant to stay. Like those. Those aren't too bad if I had left them. Okay, so back to top, delete. And now when I do Control A, I shouldn't see anything weird. I'm just checking, make sure there's nothing missing. We're at it, so I see symmetry, flip, symmetry, flip from Y. There we go. Now we've got our bars across each of the subdivisions right there like we want, and we've got our candles all set up. Now the next thing we need to do, and don't forget to attach these pieces. This is one of those pieces I want you to attach and cut up and get used to that idea. Is we've got the base form, we've got this center bar with a line going out. All we need is these curves and these curves. Okay, these curves are simple. There is some extra, oh, I hit it. Let me unhide that later. There's some extra, like I said, this stuff. I'm not going to do this right now. Maybe I'll do something that looks similar to this, but we aren't going to have time to get into this. If I get time after I do the other videos, because there's more, then I'll do that. But for now, we're not going to do that. But this one I will do. We'll figure out how to do this piece. But it's pretty simple how we're going to do this all. You know, we could do an extrusion on a line. We could do a bunch of different ways of doing stuff. But for our purposes, we're going to use a spline. It just seems like the simplest, most normal way to do it. So if I go to front Z and I look at that picture, I mean, look at it off my viewport here, but if you're looking at it, I need to go out and then back in to here. It probably has some kind of thing that it catches in the middle here, and we should probably do that too. I didn't even think about that. Darn it. We should probably have these go all the way in, but let's wait till we get the bars in. That's 6 bars. I don't think we're doing 6, so maybe we'll just do the 4. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Back to front. Go to create line, and from here to here to here, and I do like not using the curves until I'm done, like that. Obviously it's not lined up with this because we're not working in the center of the world, and that's one of the reasons you probably think, oh my gosh, center of the world's so much better. You're right, but for what we're doing this. There's no reason, honestly, I could move this to the center of the world, and probably should. I guess I just didn't because I was working on some of the actual ceiling stuff when I started, so therefore everything was based on the position of that. Hindsight 2020, maybe center your object on whenever you get the chance, because there's no reason you couldn't make it where it is and then place it out where it needs to be. Okay, so front, it's lined up now. I think lined up exactly where we want it. Let me check. I'm talking, sometimes I don't pay attention. There. Come to the modify panel, go to rendering, turn on enable viewport. We don't want 12 sides, maybe 5 sides. That looks pretty good. I think I want it much thicker though. Let's try 3. I want this one to be thicker because we have more room to work with some of the other stuff we may do. Let's do 4. What the heck? Okay. Now, if you go Alt X, you can see the through it and stuff. If you go back to your line and go to vertex, I think I showed you this before, but just in case, you go to line to vertex. Come on. Max, catch up. It's been crashing. Kick this. I say, let's start with a smooth, and it looks like crap, so we go back to Bezier, the old standard. And I probably should have just made 1. In fact, I will. I'll just delete this vert right there. I'll take this one, because we can change the interpolation and stuff as we need. Like that. I'll take this one and say corner. Or, yeah, that's fun. I'm going to make it come right out of this baby right here. Pull this one down. Oops. Okay. So the interpolation right now is 6. We can just do 4 for now, or maybe even 0. No, let's do 1, 2, 3. You know what? I think I can get rid of this one and just turn this to an Bezier corner. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe Maybe I like that little extra oomph. Let's do 4. What the heck? Okay, so we have that. It's lined up pretty good. It looks like the thickness should be okay. Okay. Collapse to an edible poly. Take these 3 or these edges and just align them to, and let's, there we go, my brain, line it to Y, white view. Do the same for these. Okay. You know what I'm thinking? Let's take these guys. Let's go back a little bit. Okay. Let's take this guy and drag him out to here. And then what I'm going to do is refine. I'm going to put a point here. I'm going to put a point here. And I'm going to put a point here. I may not need all these points, but now I have the points to work with. I'm going to grab all those points. I'm going to actually not grab all this, but I'm going to grab these points and move them to here. At this point, they're all corners. Okay. Actually, I think I want, hello, this, goodness, this guy to go up, this girl guy to go down, and pull this back down a little bit. Oops, going through yourself there, buddy. It's up. I'm just trying to connect it while I have the thought in my head. Yeah, maybe if I delete this one. I'll terminate that to a point eventually. This will turn up that interpolation so we get a little bit smoother. I was thinking it could go underneath a little bit, but I'm not real crazy about that. Like I said, I can get rid of some of this stuff that way. Sure. So we're going to do it that way. Collapse it down to edible poly. Go to 1. I'm going to get rid of a lot of this stuff, actually. So first we could do is just go to 4, grab this face, delete it, go to 3, grab this one, collapse it. Go to 2, grab this one, collapse them. There, that's not horrible. We could also take some of these points, these verts, like here, and just thicken them up as they go out, kind of like that one is, like the picture shows. We could even pull it out a little bit more. Thin these in. these two. Okay, so we're gonna use that. That's good. Let's go to the front. I'm sorry, I said the top is what I meant. The center point on this is still the same problem that we had with the other ones. So I'm going to change the center point real quick. And with these kind of objects, sometimes they get a little wonky. So I'm going to say affect pivot point and then this align to this like that. It doesn't really matter about the XY at this point, but if I start rotating it now, I should get my, what I want. What I need to decide at this point is if I want one on each of those, if I want to split them out and have a different part go to that, or how I want this to work. For now, I'm just going to say go ahead and use the tool and say array, and we'll do, oh, you know what? I said this a second ago. I oftentimes just reset X form and reset selected and then go back to convert to editable poly. My pivot point's right. I just made sure I cleared out any of the other weird stuff that may have been in there. Okay, so array back to 60 in 6. Preview it. Looks about right. Okay. So I have that. And that's pretty close to what we have up there. Now, again, we had that offshoot stuff and everything like that, and we could even get rid of this and make it a little bit sharper or something. It's up to you if you decide you want to do that. You'll notice that this is something we would more than likely make into one piece or something. But for now, it works. Now, if we go back to the top view and we look at what we have, the only thing I would do, it may have been centered, but center it right on that line again. That way, if you decide you want to do, what we just did, or whatever, like I do that symmetry stuff again, you have that option. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to say back to polygon. And I'm going to attach this and this. And then I'm going to show final. And then if I hide or delete even, wait, dang it. If I take this, delete them, and then go back and unhide. Rings? We'll take a look at it here. Snap. And there we have it. This part looks like it's symmetried pretty fine. We're good to go. Okay, and I will finish this up in the next episode.